Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Outer Rim Cantina. My name's Alan, and today I think we need to have a little conversation about gatekeeping. Now, this isn't the first time that I've mentioned the topic on this channel, or on my Twitter, or even on my Instagram, but this topic has apparently come up once again thanks to a somewhat viral tweet in the Star Wars community that started gaining traction yesterday that pretty much said that if you became a Star Wars fan around 2015, or when Disney acquired the franchise, and you don't know who Revan is, then you can't actually be a Star Wars fan. Now, to anybody with a brain or an IQ above room temperature, that sounds like total bullshit, because it is. What kind of Star Wars you like, or how much Star Wars you like, doesn't make you any more or less of a fan. If you like any kind of Star Wars, you are a Star Wars fan. You only like Rogue One? Cool, you're still a Star Wars fan. You only like the original trilogy? Well, you're still a Star Wars fan. You just became a Star Wars fan in 2015 when The Force Awakens came out, and you absolutely love that movie? Then you're a Star Wars fan. It doesn't matter what kind or how much Star Wars you like to be a Star Wars fan. There's no requirements, there's no prerequisites, there's no checklist that makes you a Star Wars fan. If you like Star Wars, then you're a Star Wars fan. It's that simple. And people trying to gatekeep this community and say that this group over here, they can't be Star Wars fans because they don't know about X character or they don't like Y movie, they're just idiots. They're the idiots that can't possibly handle change or handle anything new or handle any new people in this fandom. But the reality of it is that the Star Wars fandom and Star Wars as a franchise is meant to be one of the most inclusive things to exist ever. Out of any other kind of media, any other kind of franchise, Star Wars is meant to be for everyone. Now again, as I always say, just because Star Wars is for everyone, that does not necessarily mean that every single story is going to be made specifically for you. In fact, there are a lot of stories that a lot of people don't enjoy. There are a lot of stories that I personally don't enjoy, but they're still Star Wars, and there is still somebody out there that enjoys them. Now, back to the original tweet itself, and saying that if you don't know who Revan is, then you can't be a Star Wars fan. That, just that part of the tweet alone is so incredibly moronic. I really don't even know where to begin with it, because Revan is one of those things where, if you're really into Star Wars Legends content, then you're probably gonna know who Revan is. Like, my second favorite era besides the Clone Wars is the Old Republic, so of course I know who Revan is. Revan is one of my favorite characters. But I'm not going to gatekeep the fandom, and I'm not going to say that this person over here that doesn't know who Revan is, that's never played KOTOR, that's never read any of the Old Republic novels, they can't be a Star Wars fan because they haven't consumed this certain kind of media and media from this certain era that I happen to like. Like, who honestly thinks like that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I have actually discovered that there are a fair amount of lifelong Star Wars fans that grew up with the original trilogy, that don't know who Revan is. I don't know why Revan has become kind of the scapegoat for the ultimate Star Wars power fantasy that people seem to have, and he's always the benchmark for power scaling and all that other garbage that just ruins the enjoyment of Star Wars for a lot of people, including myself. But he has, and I guess that has to do with the fact that he was introduced in a video game capacity where there was actually power scaling and leveling and learning and mastering new force powers as you progressed through the game. But that has absolutely nothing to do with what happens in his actual stories. Or I shouldn't even say his actual stories, because at its core, Revan as a character is literally just a name and a completely blank slate for each individual person to imprint their own version of Revan on. Revan was never meant to be a kind of, set in stone, this is what happened with this character, all throughout this certain time period. And, this character is this certain gender, this certain race, or whatever. Nothing with Revan is set in stone. At least it wasn't until Star Wars The Old Republic began expanding on Revan's story a little bit more and came up with a kind of quote-unquote canon version of Revan that, where he does have a kind of set story, and it is a dude that does specific things in the Star Wars timeline. But the original iteration of Revan was just a blank slate for anybody that played Coder to imprint their own version of, whatever type of person they wanted to portray in the Star Wars universe. But having Revan be the ultimate buck stop for whether or not you can be a Star Wars fan is just, I honestly, I can't understand it. I can't understand where people get these ideas from. Because Star Wars is for everyone, and when there's so much content, so many characters, I mean, there's only, I think I saw a tweet earlier today from Soderista that said there are over 14,000 human characters listed on Wikipedia. And that's just human characters, 14,000. And all of these stories and all of these characters are spread across almost 45 years of storytelling. Not everyone is going to know every single detail or every single character or every single story or event or anything that happens in the Star Wars universe. It's just literally impossible. And saying that people have to know XYZ characters or ABC stories to be a Star Wars fan, it's just stupid, because that's not the way it works. Star Wars is for everyone, and it just seems like more and more we're starting to see these, viral tweets or certain people or groups within the fandom try and preach gatekeeping and try and preach that, oh, you have to enjoy certain stories or you have to read certain kinds of content to be considered a Star Wars fan, when literally none of that is true. And if the sane people in this fandom, which I would imagine most of you watching this video are part of that vast majority, if we really want to make this fandom better and inclusive for everybody, we need to start rooting out these idiots and these assholes and these bullies from this fandom, because they have absolutely no place in Star Wars, and Star Wars has absolutely no place for them, because literally every single story that has been told in this universe has a lesson behind it, and none of those lessons say to bully people for not liking a certain character or not liking a certain story or liking a certain movie or a certain trilogy. It has no place, and it needs to stop. And if people really want to make this fandom great and something amazing like it should be, then we need to start banding together and rooting out these people for good, and not give them a platform to spread this hate, to spread the gatekeeping, to just spread the toxicity. But that is all I'm going to say on the topic. I could go on and on about this for hours, but I'm not going to waste your time with it anymore. But as always, though, I would love to know what you think of that tweet if you happened to see it yesterday, or, you know, your opinion on gatekeeping or the Star Wars fandom in general. Just put those opinions down below. I do read all of the comments and try to respond when I can. But if you enjoyed this video or agree with my opinions on gatekeeping assholes, then I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like, as those really do help a small channel like this, and consider subscribing if you want to see more Outer Rim Cantina content in your sub feeds every week. That is all the time I've got for today. I have to see you back here in the cantina next time for another Star Wars video. Until then, may the Force be with you.